to all of my staff members that are evaluated this year. I'm going to attempt to record this video to provide you with an easier way to understand all of the components for this year's evaluation and save you time and try to flip our meeting, so to speak. I have on the screen a number of forms that I'll be walking you through for the next few minutes to make this a little bit easier. First, on the screen, you'll see the timeline this year, and I want to just remind you of what's taking place. Over this next week, by next Friday, you need to look at the goal areas. On the negotiated bargaining agreement, it talks about we have 8 goals per year. 3 that you select, 5 that administration selects, and that we agree on goals at the end to be able to move on with the process. At that point, we also meet one-on-one between your evaluator and yourself, and you'll see that timeline is any time from now through the 27th to meet and discuss those goals and objectives, and then to identify a target date for that first observation. Remember that your first observation is one that's an invited observation. You'll plan that particular date and invite us to come in for the observation, and that happens between now, and it says November 15th, but contractually, because of the start date this year being August 19th, the observation needs to be before the 8th of November so that the conference, post-conference, happens by the 12th. Those are the new contractual dates. Then following that, we will have the second observation between December 2nd and January 23rd. That one is a drop-in unannounced. That happens after your first observation. So let's say your first observation is November 8th. We won't be doing your second one November 2nd. There has to be sufficient number of time in between them in case there's areas that are identified for your opportunity to work on an area to improve. And so contractually, we have to have a minimum number of days in between those. So we'll work with you on that scheduling following the first observation. Then in the spring, after spring break, we return, and over those next 3 weeks after spring, we'll meet again for the summative evaluation, which encompasses both observations and all of the items covered during the year, from walkthroughs and interactions with you and discussions. Some of your goals are going to be things that we discuss because they're not going to be observable in a classroom lesson. Some of those goals that you may select to work on are things that you'll be telling us about and how you accomplish them, so that the summative evaluation encompasses the full year. The next form I want to share is in your handbook. This is H4 in the staff handbook, and this just gives you a guideline as to what is it that we're looking for as we walk through and visit classrooms. So take a look at that, please, over this next week so that you're familiar. Then the third area that I will be sharing with you, and I'll make sure you have access to this in a shared document as well as online. This is the rubric that's been established district-wide for all of the goal areas. In just a moment, I'll show you how to access that on the district webpage, but I will also send you a link because I have it in my drive to make it fast and easy. On this left column, you'll see each of the goals for which you may select to be working on, and then in the center of the document are the rubric levels that gives you exemplars and a write-up of what those look like. Then we want to talk about our goals for the year. Administration has identified 5 goal areas that we are working on as an entire school. All of those that were evaluated last year were subject to these 5 goals because these align with our site plan and where we're going as an entire staff. And so these are the 5 that administration will be presenting you when we meet. The first one, as you will see, standard 1, we're asking everyone to implement Wicker strategies, writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, and reading strategies that are designed to target our English learners and special needs students and those cohorts, which will include writing in your content area with evidence-based writing, use of sentence frames for assessment, and then checking for understanding. These are our target areas not only in our dashboard, but our site plan as well. And as you read through these, you will see a goal involving the high leverage behaviors from our pride posture in our Tier 1 efforts. You'll also see there's one on developing and working with your team and subject alike on incorporating common formative assessments to guide your teaching. Then you'll see an additional one for maintaining our electronic gradebook on the biweekly format according to those dates that we've listed in the staff handbook, so that we can keep our parents and students informed of their progress, and that we post grades within those designated progress report and report card grading windows. And then our last goal that you'll see at the bottom is for our collaboration efforts as we work together to enhance our PLC mindset across campus. We want to regularly collaborate with our department and subject alike, and it needs to revolve around answering the 4 guiding questions that you will see listed. Making sure we are attending to what do we expect our students to learn, how will we know they're learning it, how will we respond when they don't learn, and how are we responding if they already know something. So those 4 questions become critical in your collaborative conversations. Following that, I've given you access to a page that just has a variety of sample goals. Once our staff members in the past years have selected the goals across, in addition to the 5 that administration select, once you have those listed, then please look at these samples to kind of guide you. Let's say you're working on one on classroom management and you really want to maintain an effective learning environment. You'll see here is one specific one that someone used last year that says, I'm going to use specific routines to include reviewing listening skills prior to the lesson, how I'm going to distribute materials, and how students are to be called on for questioning. So they were going to develop some very specific observable routines in their classroom to help maximize the learning opportunity. Another one you'll see on here is that they were going to implement and monitor the use of the student binder, and instead of TCH, that now needs to say IHS for intent, homework, and schoolwork as a student organizational structure. So think in terms of what it is you would like to accomplish, improve, or develop this year, and you can use these samples to guide you in what you're going to place as the evidence of your goal as you develop those 3 for when we meet. Then, rather than providing a lesson plan, each time we come for that observation, I ask that you fill out the guiding question sheet. This will tell us exactly what it is you're teaching, why are you teaching that particular lesson, what has informed you to cause that particular selection, how are you delivering that instruction, what's the mode of instructional delivery, and why are you choosing to teach it that way? Not just because the publisher said today is this lesson and in this format, but as you look at your learners, the construct of your class, prior learning, how and why are you choosing to deliver the content in that format? And then last 2 questions are on assessment. How will you know the students have learned and mastered the strategy, skill, or concept that you've covered that day? And how will the students know that they've mastered that skill, strategy, or concept? So I'm just asking for that at least the day prior to our visit to your classroom. Now, as you go to the district webpage, and you see here in the upper corner, once you log in and you scroll down, under Staff Resources is a green square with an apple in it that says Staff Center. When you click on Staff Center, it takes you to the launch page that is not accessible to the public. The first 2 items are the certificated and classified evaluations, and then forms. Under forms, which I will show you, is the certificated rubric. And when you click on that, it will take you to the actual rubric that I shared a moment ago. I'll be sending you a hyperdoc with links for those to make it a little faster and easier to find. The first square, though, or the first link, is certificated and classified evaluations. When you click there, this year, instead of Alpen Spruce, we are using the same system that we use for our absence reporting, frontline education. This particular screen, when I clicked on it, is showing you my evaluation. Yours may look similar because I'm going to be recording my goals for my evaluation with the assistant superintendent in the same fashion and format that you do. On this side here, if you don't see the navigation, you'll have to click on this arrow in the top left to expand it, and it will have your information, your profile, and then it has your learning plan, which should be unique to each one of you. I'm going to click on the next one because I have everyone's on mine. And you'll go to, I would go to process view, which is where that takes me to be able to work on evaluations for each one of you. Yours should go in learning plan straight to this particular designated spot. Once you meet with your evaluator and you've selected your goals, we'll be meeting together and we will be looking at a form that looks very much like this. And you should see on yours, when you click, after you've received your notice of being evaluated, one of the boxes or one of the links under your learning plan will give you the opportunity to open this section of the document where you can see all of the goal areas. And so as you look through, it tells you what the standards are. And you can, as you go through, the first focus standard, standard 1, and it will give you the opportunity to fill in what your particular suggested goals are. What I'm also going to do today is send you a Google Doc that will have each of the goal areas, and you can use that one first if you want to use as a planning sheet, and then when we meet, we can transfer those together onto the actual new form as our administrative team and you both learn this new document system, which has just been rolled out last week. So I will send that to you to make it a little bit easier to navigate. With that, I hope this makes it easier. I'll be sending you access to a folder, a shared folder, and in that shared folder will be a Google Classroom, and in the Google Classroom it will invite you to join, and there will be all of each of these documents listed in that particular Google Classroom to make it easier for you to locate. Thank you and have a great weekend, and thank you for your patience as I learn how to use Loom to record these videos to save you time and make life easier for all of us. Have a great weekend. I'll also be downloading a link to the Frontline system. They have a video coming out that will guide us all in a quick tutorial and questions and answers on using the new platform. So I will send you that link as well. Have a great weekend.